Welcome to Paco the Realtor channel, where I talk about real estate, rants, and other things that can make our life really interesting. Hey guys, this is Paco the Realtor, broker, owner of RX Real Estate, realtor, broker, local expert, storyteller. Hope everybody having a good evening. I apologize for the late post. It is 9 o'clock, but it was a long day. But I still wanted to make sure I got out. What's up, Chris? I wanted to get out my whole thing about failure today. It was something that I had a few things going on in the morning, and so I figured why not jump on here and talk about it. Failure is something we all face, right? Failure is part of life. It's part of whether it's business, personal, friendships, whatever it may be. Failure is something that we are taught to avoid. Failure is something that we run from. And I was no different. I absolutely ran from failure. I was scared to fail. I was scared to fail publicly, which meant that it affected my personality. It affected my personality in the following way. I didn't have an opinion. I kept my mouth shut. Didn't want to cause any trouble. I was always the problem solver, which I still am, but not like I was before. Nope, Sandy, get down. So before, I would not say anything. Now, that bleeded over to my business. I was scared to tell people the truth about, or give them bad news. I apologize, because it was one of those things that, it's emotional. Buying, selling a house is emotional, and it's something that you do, and somebody's pumped up, and you got to give them bad news. And I always felt like, oh, it's personal. They're gonna blame me, whatever it may be. But what I did was, failure defined me in the fact that I would run from it like everybody else. I would go ahead and avoid it at all costs. Then about 4 years ago, not to go into too much detail, but a few things happened in my life that changed, that made me realize as I got older that, no, I don't care if I fail. I failed big in the past and I'm still alive. So what am I going to do? Not fail? And live the rest of my life not doing what I want because I'm scared of what somebody might say? So I totally changed my personality with the help of a friend of mine. She kind of put me in the right direction. I went from being a silent agent, somebody that didn't want to put themselves out there too much, somebody who didn't want to stir the pots. And I still don't stir the pot, but I definitely don't mind giving my opinion now, right? Now, as you guys know, my car is wrapped. Now I do a lot of video. I have no problem telling people how I feel, not in a negative way, but I am real. What allowed me to become real in who I am and allowed my success to grow is I became real with myself, and I came to the realization that growth comes through sacrifice and from learning from your failures. You see all these posts on Instagram and these quotes like, failure is your best friend and this and that. And you got motivational speakers that tell you, it's not that bad, but you all know that it's very emotional to fail. You take it personal, you feel like a loser. And so therefore you don't like the feeling. So therefore you try to avoid it, right? And that was a path I was going to. And then finally I decided that, it was over. I wasn't going to be that person anymore. And I personally grew to the point where I didn't mind failing. I didn't mind failing publicly. I didn't mind going on video and making a fool of myself. I didn't mind talking to a client and accidentally cussing, because I kind of cuss a lot. I became real, but again, not in a negative way. I'm not a negative person. Those that know me have a lot of energy. I like to give it. I wasn't in a negative way. It got me thinking today. And the reason it got me thinking today was because this morning I had a situation with a friend of mine / client of mine who told me that they had a goal to sell their house. But they wouldn't do it because of the fear, and I'm not going to go into what their fears were, but they were valid. So I went ahead and said, well, that's fine, it's your prerogative, but let me ask you something. A year from now, are you going to be a better or worse situation for not doing what you want to do because of fear? He goes, well, being a worse. So then I explained to him, then you got to do it. So what am I trying to say? The pain of not changing and not growing has to be greater than the pain of failing. In other words, if you could deal with the failures and you're okay with it and it doesn't change you, it's one thing. For me, I was tired of not failing. I was tired of not trying as much as I could because I was scared of failing. And I know it could be deep or however you want to call it, but I had to go here and fix this before my personal life got changed, before my relationship with my family, my relationship with my business, how I looked at myself changed. So it just is something as simple as this client calling me up and say they have a goal, but they're not going to do it because some fears, which were really valid, but they were valid to him because they were his fears, right? And who am I to disregard somebody else's emotions? And I was pretty much there to say, stop. You're full of it. You know, you're not scared. These aren't valid excuses. Here's what you are. So if I may ask everybody who's listening to this video, who watches this video, think of this. You need to have an accountability. Sandy Koufax, you need to have an accountability partner to hold you accountable to who you are and who you want to be. We all aspire to be greater, to grow, to be better people. But fear keeps us back. And I couldn't get past some roadblocks I had. Then I had somebody from the outside sit me down and say, what the heck you doing? And it took that person, and it took me 6 months with that person to finally realize, shit, you're right. You know, I had to get past my pity party. I had to get past whatever you want to call it. We all feel sorry for ourselves. Whatever it may be, right? And we all face that. So this person not only helped me in business, but they helped me personally. So here is my thing for you, is if you want to grow, and it doesn't matter your age, guys. It doesn't matter if you're 30s, 40s, 50s, or 60s. We all want to grow. If you haven't been able to do it on your own, you need help. I'm not saying you need a professional, but you need somebody to hold you accountable. And I'm standing here telling you that I wouldn't have grown to where I'm at if it wasn't for the help of somebody else. You need somebody who is not there to tell you the real. As I always tell my clients, I'm here to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And that's what I needed. I needed somebody to tell me what I needed to hear, not what I wanted. What I wanted was for them to say it was okay. Everything's going to be okay. What I needed to hear was like, no, keep making this. Sandy Koufax. My dog's chewing on something. I don't know what. Sandy. What I needed to hear was, if you don't change, it's going to be the same result. Sandy. Well, that's what I needed to hear. And that's what it took for me to look in the mirror and realize that. And we all have that at some level, right? So there you are for Therapy Thursday. Make fear your best friend. Make fear not your enemy, something you embrace. Because if you're fearful, that means you're outside your comfort zone. If you're outside your comfort zone, that means you're growing. And if you're growing, that means you're learning more about yourself to push the boundaries. All right, guys? I hope Therapy Thursday was a little therapy for at least one person out there. If you guys have any questions and need to get a hold of me, on Sunday I'm having Ask Paco. Send me some questions. I'll be more than happy to go ahead and answer them on Sunday. As always, this is Paco, the Realtor Broker, owner of RX Real Estate. I don't know what my dog is doing over there. And broker, local expert, realtor, storyteller. All right, guys, until next time. Hey, thank you so much for watching our videos. I appreciate it. If you really like the content, go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel. We'll be putting out a lot of content on a weekly basis, which will be real estate related and a lot of stuff of just me ranting. So thank you. Remember, subscribe.